Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Chocolate Squad. So this video is going to be about makeup. I've been talking a lot about hair and how that can be used as an outlet for people's self-hate, but one that is really understated is how makeup can be used. I understand that not everybody uses makeup for the same reasons, and whilst others can use it as a way to channel their self-hate, other people do use it to enhance their features, which is good. But today I'll be talking about the self-hating portion of it, one of which is nose contour. If you're not very familiar with nose contouring and what it aims to do, it's basically a makeup technique that changes how the nose looks by creating shadows where there aren't shadows. In this specific example, nose contour is used to make the nose look thinner and create the illusion of a nose bridge. Words cannot say how much I despise nose contouring on black people. I don't really watch white people's makeup routines, but when I watch a black person's one so I can get better at it myself, they always have that nose contouring step. I believe in embracing our natural noses, no matter how big or how small, as it's a symbol of your heritage. I am a true believer of the fact that facial features aren't inherently ugly. It's just the fact that society convinces people through subliminal messaging, whether it's in certain shows, people of a specific phenotype are casted as the bad people or in some sort of negative light. That is what makes people associate those features to negativity, which makes people subconsciously view those features as ugly. In some communities, this means equating bigger features with being ugly and smaller features as being beautiful. Personally, I think all of them are beautiful. And you shouldn't be scared about how society views you, especially when it's just you in your natural state. This is how God made you. Or if you don't believe in God, this is how the universe set you to look like. So why would you change that if you think that the universe or God makes no mistakes? Why would you change it? Or mask it rather, because when it's talking about makeup, it's more like covering up those features and giving them the illusion of looking like something else rather than changing them. Personally, I find Afrocentric noses very beautiful, and so do many others. So don't be upset if a select group of people don't like you or your features, because there will be many, many, many people who do. Because we need to remember the fact that we can't please anybody in any aspect of our lives. You can't please everybody. So the best thing for you to do is just exist how you naturally are, and the people who accept you, and the people who don't. That way you can weed out the people who are not gonna be compatible with you. So the next one is the fact that some people purposely wear foundation that is too light. I understand that some brands are not the most inclusive, their shade range is not the most extensive. Trust me, I do know. When I was younger and I was like experimenting with makeup, when you're a child, you don't really have that much money, so you end up having to get the cheaper brands that don't really have an extensive shade range. So especially if you're dark skinned like me, you just get the darkest shade that you can find, but that one will still end up looking ashy on you. And coupled with the fact that my mother is a light skinned woman, and when I would be experimenting with makeup, I would also be experimenting with her makeup. So it all ended up looking real ashy on me. But I thought I was doing something. So believe me, I understand when people say that the cheaper brands that they normally get don't have an extensive shade range, so they're not able to get what they need. And the more expensive ones tend to be the ones that are more inclusive. For example, Fenty Beauty, they have so many shades. I think it's about 50 something shades. Yeah, Rihanna's doing her thing. But there are relatively cheaper alternatives you can try. For example, there is a brand called L'Oreal. I'm not sure if you have it in America, but I would assume so. They have a line called True Match, which is the one that I use. I'm pretty sure the aim is that it matches many skin tones. That's why they named it that. And I believe they have like 48 shades now. In pounds, it is $10.99, and I converted it to dollars, and it's about $14. So I think that's reasonable, especially the fact that it's not too expensive and it's got a wide shade range. I don't wear makeup all that often, but when I do, this is the brand that I use. The shade that I use is 10N. I'm pretty sure the N stands for neutral because there's W, which I'm assuming is warm, and C, which is cold. I'll put pictures of people who are also that same shade on the screen. I know that there are people darker than me, and I'm pretty sure they do too, because fortunately the line goes up to 13, I believe, with warm, cold, and neutral shades for those as well. Some women implement these practices because maybe they assume that if they do, they'll be favored in some sort of way by society, but that shouldn't be the goal that we strive for. I don't believe that we should be obligated to change the state that we naturally exist in order to appease random people that we don't even know, especially when it's at the cost of your health. Because some of these treatments that people do in order to assimilate can cause them harm. For example, with relaxers, there's been studies that link relaxers to uterine cancer and cervical cancer, which just doesn't seem worth it when you could just exist in your natural state. Your well-being should always come first. But don't get me wrong, this is not me saying that we can't get dolled up sometimes. It's just that we should feel comfortable in our own skin and choose to embrace our phenotype over others, which includes embracing our noses, no matter how big or small, and embracing our skin tone, no matter how light or dark. I already feel that some people are gonna disagree with this video because they believe that however way a woman chooses to get ahead in society is valid and she should be allowed to do that. Don't get me wrong, you can be allowed to do whatever you want, bodily autonomy at the end of the day. But two things can be true at once, because those standards that you work so hard you break your back to try and fit into can also be damaging you and changing the way that you view yourself. There's this song by Beyonce, which is one of my favorites, and personally, I believe it's quite underrated. It's called Pretty Hurts. And if you don't know much about the song, some people may interpret it as a woe is me, I'm pretty, pity me sort of song. But I don't think that's the case at all. At least that's not how I interpreted it. Not only does it touch upon, well, really highlight the fact that during her life she's been dehumanized because of her beauty and also forced to abide by these societal beauty standards, but also reflects the experiences of women as a whole and the expectation to conform to societal beauty standards, even if it has the capacity to hurt her. This could mean facing an elevated risk of uterine and cervical cancer due to relaxing your hair to fit in at work. It could be meaning lightening your skin to appease society in whatever way. This could also mean contouring your nose in an attempt to erase your African features. The last verse of this song is especially impactful. It reads, "When you're alone or by yourself and you're lying in your bed, reflection stares right into you. Are you happy with yourself? You stripped away the masquerade. The illusion has been shed. Are you happy with yourself?" When you go home at the end of the day and you take off the wig, wipe off the makeup, are you happy with what you see in the mirror? Or has society convinced you that you are not beautiful in your natural state? So that is all from me today. I know it was a bit of a shorter one, but I don't think there's anything I would like to say further about this. If you do have any questions, comments, or concern, you can put it down in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to be notified on future uploads, feel free to tap the bell button. Thank you, bye!